In the comment section, Sleekit says, the 49ers are going to spend 100 million on Rangers this summer. We are so back, baby. I mean, I would probably wager that that's not going to happen.
I would think that you're probably correct.
But is there any updates you can give us on the proposed US takeover?
All I can tell you is that Andrew Cavenagh, the guy who's the principal driver of the proposal, he was in Istanbul at the Sukru Saracoğlu Stadium on Thursday night to watch the match. I find that interesting. I find it interesting that he's in Europe. And I wonder if there's the potential for him, having gone all the way to Istanbul to watch the first leg, wonder if he might just be about to turn up at Ibrox and surprise everybody on Thursday night to watch the second leg. And he's been at Ibrox on a couple of occasions, but he was a non-person. Nobody knew who he was. It didn't carry anything. He could come and go as he pleased. If Andrew Cavenagh walks into the director's box at Ibrox Stadium on Thursday night, he'll have 50,000 sets of eyes on.
Aye.
Everybody will realise that who he is and what he's there to do. Now, I believe, obviously, he was around the official party at the match on Thursday night. You know, we'd already revealed that he'd been to Old Trafford for a previous Europa League, so clearly he's got big interest in it. He's keeping an eye on it. I find it fascinating. I also find it fascinating, and here's a point, and I mentioned this in my column for tomorrow. Andrew Cavenagh was at Ibrox on January the 12th, I think it was, for a 3-1 win over St Johnstone. Now, that was the day that some Rangers fans were so furious with the current regime that they staged a walkout and organised protest against them, calling for the heads, calling for change, without knowing, of course, that the very guy that might be able to facilitate that change was sitting in the boardroom, or sitting in the director's box. Now, the point is this: that was Rangers hurtling towards rock bottom, right? When you've got support which is in revolt, people walking out, booing, fans booing each other, the whole thing. It doesn't get much more critical than that, and he was there for it, and he saw it. And that's his last experience of Ibrox. Now, if he then turns up on Thursday night, and he walks in, and this place is pandemonium, and there's a reconnection between the support and the team, that looks much more like the football club that I think he wants to be involved in.
Right.
And that might be interesting as well, because I would imagine there'll be Barry Ferguson's name will be getting the treatment. And if Andrew Cavenagh looks at that and equates this disconnect that he witnessed in January and compares it to what it might look and sound like on Thursday night, well, I think that gives a bit of momentum to, if Barry Ferguson has got ambitions to do this for more than 3 months, if Cavenagh identifies him as the guy that's reconnected the whole thing, then it could get interesting.
It's potentially both for the club, but Barry Ferguson, one of the biggest weeks in his career, perhaps.
Oh, without
and not
doubt.
just managerial career, his entire career.
Without doubt, yeah. And I think if Barry was here, he'd say much the same himself. I mean, he had a glittering career as a player, played top matches, won trophies, played in the Champions League, captained the club that he grew up supporting. All that's massive. Now he's the manager of Rangers, and it happened in such a hurry that I'm not sure if he would have had time until after Thursday night to actually reflect upon, how did that just happen? I am now manager of Rangers and I've just beaten Jose Mourinho. It is mental. The whole situation is almost absurd, and yet here he is. And and people saying it's almost like they use a swear word, just Rangers men, and it's a kind of there's a negative to it. That why did you go, resort to this? Just bringing back guys that have been through the door before. I would tend to disagree in this instance. I actually look at it and I think somewhere along the way, Rangers have lost their DNA. They've lost touch with what they've always been as a football club. Standards have eroded behind the scenes. I think that Barry Ferguson and his staff, as I said to you, I think they'll have been absolutely shocked when they walked into Auchenhow for the first time and looked at what it looks like today and compared it to what they knew.
Yeah.
The standards, the professionalism, everything. And they'll see this now as a chance, whether it's 3 months or whether it's longer. I think that in Barry Ferguson's mind, it would be, if he's not going to get this dream scenario, and let's not rule that out just yet, but even if it is just the 3 months, I think he would like his legacy to be, well, do you know that place? At least it resembles something much more like what it was when they first walked in through the doors. I think there's a lot at play here. There's a lot at stake. It's absolutely fascinating.
Massive week.
If Barry Ferguson was to get another result against Fenerbahce, knock Jose Mourinho out of the Europa League, reach the quarterfinals of the tournament, and then somehow go to Celtic Park and put on a performance against Brendan Rodgers, I think if he comes through that, 6-7 days,
if he did that, that'd be remarkable.
He then, there is no question in my mind, becomes a genuine candidate.
Aye. Oh, of course.
A real serious candidate.
I would, just my opinion, he would surely be right at the forefront. Not just a candidate.
It would start to become difficult
exactly.
for the American owners to look at it and think about doing anything else.
Exactly.
And I think what that comment I was saying there about Rangers losing their DNA, I think it's important for them right now. They've gone through, there's so many chancers and fly-by nights and people with pie charts and PowerPoint presentations that have come and gone through that place. Nobody knows what they are anymore.
No.
And I think that these guys, they are ideally placed because they're the link between what they knew, how they knew that club conducted itself and how things were run when they were successful and they were winning trophies and they were relevant to how it is now. And I think they might represent Rangers' best chance of starting to repair all the damage that's been done over all these years of interlopers and guys that come in